You have seen the big war movies, the loud ones, the famous ones everyone talks about. But hidden beneath those giants is another world. A world of British World War II, films that feel raw, personal, and shockingly real. These are the stories most people missed, the ones that still hit harder today. Stay with me, because one of these films will completely surprise you. Number 15. In Which We Serve, 1942. A war film that does not chase spectacle, yet leaves a deeper mark than most large-scale epics. This is where British cinema found its voice during the chaos of World War II. The story follows a Royal Navy destroyer and the men who serve on it as they face relentless attacks at sea. What makes this film endure is not just the action. It is the quiet dignity of ordinary sailors who know they may not survive the next hour, yet carry on without hesitation. There is a raw honesty in how the film captures fear and duty. Flashbacks reveal the lives these men left behind, families waiting, dreams paused, futures uncertain. Every moment on the ship feels like borrowed time. The performances feel natural and grounded, which makes the danger feel real. There is no glamour here, only resilience. Today, it still holds up because it feels authentic. The pacing is tight. The emotions land without manipulation. It reminds viewers that war is not just strategy and victory. It is sacrifice on a human level. Few modern films capture that simplicity with this much power. This is not just a war film. It is a tribute to those who never had the luxury of hesitation. Number 14, Went the Day. Well, 1942. At first glance, this looks like a simple village story. Peaceful countryside, friendly faces, quiet routines. Then, everything turns. Enemy soldiers arrive disguised as allies, and within moments, the illusion collapses. What follows is one of the most unsettling British war films ever made. Because the battlefield is not distant, it is home. The film builds tension slowly, then strikes without warning. Ordinary civilians are forced into impossible decisions. Trust becomes dangerous. Survival demands courage from people who never expected to fight. What makes this film stand out even today is its willingness to show how brutal war can be when it invades everyday life. There is no heroic buildup, just sudden violence and desperate resistance. It still holds up because it feels ahead of its time. The tone is darker than most wartime films of its era. The message is clear. War does not wait for soldiers. It reaches into homes and forces ordinary people to become something else. That shift is what makes this film unforgettable. It is not about victory. It is about what people are willing to become when everything is taken from them. Number 13. The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, 1943. This is not the war film most people expect. There are no constant explosions, no relentless battlefield chaos. Instead, this film takes a bold approach. It studies time, memory, pride, and how war slowly reshapes a man across decades. At its center is an aging British officer who represents an older code of honor, a code that no longer fits the brutal reality of modern war. What makes this film powerful is its emotional depth. It moves through different eras, showing how friendships evolve and how enemies can sometimes be understood better than allies. The pacing feels deliberate, yet every moment adds weight. You begin to see how war is not just fought on battlefields. It is fought within people, as their beliefs are challenged and broken. Even today, it feels daring. It questions blind patriotism without losing respect for sacrifice. That balance is rare. The performances feel layered and human. The story unfolds like a quiet reflection, rather than a loud statement. That is why it stays with you. It shows that war changes not just nations, but identities. And sometimes the hardest battle is accepting that the world you believed in no longer exists. Number 12. The Land Girls, 1998. War films often focus on soldiers. This one turns its attention somewhere else. The home front, the farms, the women who stepped into roles they were never expected to fill. The story follows a group of young women who join the Women's Land Army and are sent to work in rural England during the war. What begins as an unfamiliar challenge slowly becomes a defining experience. The strength of this film lies in its intimacy. It captures relationships, tension, loneliness, and the quiet resilience required to keep a country running while the war rages elsewhere. The characters feel real. They struggle, they clash, they grow. There is no grand heroism here, only the steady effort of people doing what must be done. It still holds up because it fills a gap many war films ignore. It shows that survival is not just about fighting. It is about endurance. The cinematography adds warmth, yet never hides the emotional weight. Beneath the calm countryside lies uncertainty and fear. That contrast gives the film its lasting impact. It reminds us that history is shaped not only by those on the front lines, but also by those who kept everything from falling apart. Number 11. Carve. Her Name with Pride, 1958. This is where the war stops feeling distant and becomes deeply personal. The story follows a young British woman who transforms from an ordinary civilian into a key agent within the resistance. There is no instant heroism here, only gradual change, training, fear, doubt, and a growing understanding that every choice could lead to death. What makes this film powerful is its restraint. It does not rush the transformation. You watch her evolve step by step as she takes on missions that demand absolute courage. The tension is constant because there is no safe ground. Every conversation could be a trap. Every ally could be compromised. That quiet pressure builds until it becomes almost unbearable. Even today, it holds up because it treats its subject with respect. It avoids exaggeration and focuses on human cost. The performance at its center carries the film with emotional precision. You feel the weight of sacrifice long before the final moments arrive. This is not just a story about bravery. It is about commitment to a cause when survival is no longer guaranteed. That is what makes it unforgettable. Number 10. 633. Squadron, 1964. This is where precision becomes everything. A mission that looks impossible, a target hidden deep within enemy territory, and a squadron tasked with flying low through narrow valleys under constant threat. From the very first moment, the film locks into a clear objective and never lets go. What sets this film apart is its focus on execution. The pilots are not reckless heroes. They are professionals working under extreme pressure. Every maneuver matters. Every mistake could end the mission instantly. The aerial sequences feel sharp and deliberate, which gives the film a strong sense of realism. You are not just watching action. You are watching a calculated operation unfold. It still holds up because of its clarity and discipline. There is no unnecessary distraction. The story moves forward with purpose. The tension builds with each step closer to the target. By the time the final assault begins, the stakes feel earned. This is not just about victory. It is about completing a mission that should never have been possible. That focus gives the film its lasting impact and keeps it engaging even decades later. Number 9. The Heroes of Telemark, 1965. This is a war film built on sabotage, not spectacle. The mission is simple on paper, yet terrifying in execution. Stop the enemy from advancing a nuclear program hidden deep inside occupied territory. What follows is a tense journey through snow-covered landscapes where survival depends on precision and silence. The film thrives on atmosphere. Cold air, harsh terrain, constant danger. Every step forward feels uncertain. The characters are not invincible. They are fragile and exposed, which makes each decision carry real weight. The pacing allows the tension to build naturally. Instead of rushing into action, it creates a steady sense of dread that never fully disappears. It still holds up because of its realism and focus. There is no overblown drama. The stakes are clear and the danger feels grounded. The performances add to that authenticity. You believe these people are risking everything for a mission that may never be recognized. That quiet heroism is what gives the film its strength. It shows that some of the most important victories happen far away from the spotlight. Number 8. Pursuit of the Graf, Spee, 1956. This film approaches war like a chess match played across open water. Strategy replaces chaos. Decisions unfold with precision. The story follows the hunt for a powerful enemy ship as naval forces work together to corner a threat that refuses to be easily defeated. What makes this film stand out is its calm intensity. There are no frantic scenes. Instead, there is calculated movement, ships maneuvering into position, commanders weighing options. Every choice carries consequences that cannot be reversed. That measured approach creates a different kind of tension, one built on anticipation rather than noise. It still holds up because it respects the intelligence of its audience. It trusts the viewer to follow strategy and understand stakes without constant explanation. The realism gives it weight. The outcome feels earned because it is shaped by careful planning rather than luck. This is not a story of overwhelming force. It is a story of patience and control, and that makes it quietly powerful even today. Number 7. Sink the Bismarck, 1960. This is not a film about noise or spectacle. It is about pressure that never lifts. From the first moment, you feel the weight of responsibility inside the war room. Every update carries urgency. Every delay feels dangerous. The mission is clear: track down one of the most powerful battleships in the world and stop it before it changes the course of the war. What makes this film stand out is its focus on command rather than combat. You spend most of your time with the officers who must make impossible decisions with limited information. Maps spread across tables, messages arriving too late, ships moving across vast distances where one mistake could lead to disaster. That constant uncertainty creates tension that feels real and relentless. The film still holds up because it understands how war is actually fought, not just with weapons but with judgment and timing. The pacing is controlled, yet never slow. Each scene builds on the last, until the final confrontation feels inevitable. When action finally arrives, it feels earned rather than forced. There is also a sense of respect that runs through the story. The enemy is not reduced to a simple villain. Instead, there is an acknowledgement of skill and discipline on both sides. That balance gives the film depth. It becomes more than a victory story. It becomes a study of strategy under pressure. That is why it remains engaging even decades later.
Number 6. We Dive at Dawn, 1943. This is war beneath the surface, where silence becomes the only shield between survival and destruction. The film follows a British submarine crew sent deep into hostile waters on a mission that demands precision and absolute discipline. There are no wide battlefields here, only confined steel walls, limited air, and the constant fear that one mistake will expose their position to an enemy waiting above. What makes this film gripping is its atmosphere. Every sound matters. Every movement carries risk. The tension builds not through spectacle, but through restraint. You feel the pressure of the deep sea pressing against the hull. You sense the crew holding their breath as danger passes overhead. That quiet intensity creates a level of suspense that never fades. It still holds up because it understands the psychology of warfare in isolation. The crew cannot escape their environment. They must rely on each other completely. That dependence creates a bond that feels real and earned. The performances reinforce that authenticity. No one feels larger than life. They feel like men doing their duty under impossible conditions. This replacement strengthens the list because it fits the title perfectly. It is a true World War II story that rarely appears in mainstream discussions, yet it delivers a focused and immersive experience that remains powerful even today. It proves that some of the most intense battles happen where no one can see them.
Number 5. The Man Who Never Was, 1956. This is where war becomes deception at its most meticulous. No battlefield, no explosions, just one daring idea that feels almost impossible to believe. Convince the enemy of a lie so convincing that it changes the course of an entire campaign. The film follows a covert operation built around a single body and a carefully constructed identity. Every detail must be perfect, because one mistake could expose everything. What makes this film remarkable is its precision. Every document, every personal item, every small touch is designed to sell the illusion. You watch intelligence officers work through possibilities with cold logic. There is tension in every step because the plan depends on human curiosity and human error. The film understands that the smallest detail can decide success or failure. It still holds up because it treats espionage as a craft rather than a fantasy. There are no shortcuts, only patience and careful execution. The pacing allows the suspense to build steadily as the plan unfolds. You are constantly aware that everything could collapse at any moment. There is also a haunting quality beneath the surface. The identity created for the mission begins to feel real. That adds an emotional layer that stays with you. This is not just a clever operation. It is a reminder that war often depends on unseen actions that never receive recognition. That quiet impact is what gives the film its lasting power. Number 4. Against the Wind, 1948. This is the kind of film most audiences have never encountered. No grand marketing, no constant exposure. Yet it delivers one of the most grounded portrayals of resistance work during the war. The story follows agents sent into occupied territory where survival depends on secrecy and trust that can break at any moment. What sets this film apart is its realism. There is no sense of invincibility. Missions go wrong, communication fails, plans collapse under pressure. The characters are forced to adapt constantly while knowing that capture means torture or worse. That awareness creates tension that never fades. Every interaction carries risk. Every silence feels heavy. It still holds up because it refuses to romanticize espionage. The danger feels immediate and personal. The performances add to that authenticity. You believe these individuals are operating without safety nets. That vulnerability gives the film emotional weight that many larger productions lack. This is exactly the kind of hidden gem that fits the title perfectly. It has been overshadowed for decades, yet remains powerful for those who discover it. The story does not rely on spectacle. It relies on human courage under impossible conditions. That focus makes it unforgettable. It proves that some of the most intense war stories are the ones that almost disappeared. Number 3. The Way Ahead, 1944. This is where the myth of the perfect soldier is stripped away completely. There are no polished heroes here. Only ordinary men pulled from everyday life and forced into something they never prepared for. Shopkeepers, clerks, workers, strangers who must learn to function as a unit or fail together. The film follows their transformation from disorganized recruits into disciplined soldiers ready for combat. What makes this film powerful is its honesty. Training is not shown as inspiring montage. It is exhausting, frustrating, often humiliating. Mistakes are punished. Weakness is exposed. Slowly, the group begins to change. Bonds form under pressure. Confidence replaces doubt. But the film never pretends that fear disappears. It remains present even as they prepare for war. It still holds up because it captures a truth many films ignore. War is not just fought by heroes. It is fought by people who learn how to endure. The pacing allows you to feel that evolution. By the time they reach the battlefield, you understand what it cost them to get there. There is a quiet respect in how the story unfolds. It does not exaggerate or simplify. It shows growth as something earned through hardship. That realism gives the film lasting impact. It becomes more than a war story. It becomes a study of how ordinary individuals are shaped by extraordinary circumstances. Number 2. Ice Cold in Alex, 1958. This is not a story about victory. It is a story about survival when everything begins to fall apart. Set against the harsh desert landscape, the film follows a small group trying to reach safety while surrounded by danger on all sides. There are no large battles, no clear front lines, only heat, exhaustion, and the constant threat of being discovered. What makes this film stand out is its intensity. The desert becomes an enemy of its own. Every mile feels harder than the last. Supplies run low. Trust begins to fracture. The characters are pushed to their limits, both physically and emotionally. That pressure creates tension that never fades. Even the smallest decision can have serious consequences. It still holds up because of its simplicity and focus. The story does not rely on spectacle. It relies on atmosphere and performance. You feel the heat. You feel the fatigue. That immersion makes the journey unforgettable. There is also a deeper layer beneath the surface. The film explores leadership and responsibility in a way that feels grounded. It shows how people react when pushed beyond comfort. Some rise, some struggle, That honesty gives the film weight. It becomes a powerful reminder that survival is not guaranteed. It must be earned step by step. Number 1, The Cruel Sea, 1953. This is the film that defines what a British war story can be, at its most honest and unflinching. No dramatic hero poses, no exaggerated triumph. Only the cold reality of life at sea, where danger never announces itself. The story follows a naval officer and his crew as they escort convoys through waters filled with unseen threats. The enemy is rarely visible, yet always present. That constant uncertainty becomes the film's greatest weapon. What makes this film stand above the rest is its emotional weight. Loss is not treated as a passing moment. It lingers. Decisions carry consequences that cannot be undone. The crew is forced to continue even after witnessing tragedy. That quiet endurance creates a powerful sense of realism. You begin to understand that survival often comes at a cost that cannot be measured. It still holds up because it refuses to simplify war. There are no easy victories here, only hard choices made under pressure. The performances feel grounded, which makes every moment feel authentic. You believe in these characters because they are not perfect. They are human. By the time the film reaches its final moments, you realize it has done something rare. It has shown war without illusion. It has captured the psychological toll as much as the physical danger. That honesty is what makes it unforgettable. This is not just a war film. It is a lasting portrait of resilience under relentless pressure. If this list changed how you see war films, then you already know what to do. Hit like, subscribe, and tell me which hidden film deserves more attention. Because sometimes, the greatest stories are the ones history almost forgot.